Hi everybody, Mike Carroll from Fit for Golf here, and in this video I'm going to share some isometric loading protocols for golfers and tennis elbow that I learned from Dr. Keith Baar. I'm going to show you two ways that you can do this. They work the same. One may just be easier for you to do depending on where you're doing the exercises. So very simply, you're going to set up. This first one is going to be for golfer's elbow, which is on the inside of the elbow. You're going to set up with your arm slightly out from your side, your elbow bent to 90 degrees. You're then going to rotate your forearm so that the shaft is parallel or level with the ground. And you're simply going to hold this position for 30 seconds. After you've 30 seconds done, you're going to take a 2-minute break and repeat that for 4 sets. You want to use enough resistance so that the end of the 30-second period is relatively challenging. There should be a little bit of shaking present. If one golf club is too easy, you can simply add a second one and do the exact same exercise, like so, and then you can also progress to 3 golf clubs if needed. For tennis elbow, which is on the outside of the forearm, you're going to do the exact thing, but in the other direction. So you're going to set up the same way. You're then going to allow the shaft rotate down, but this time your palm is going to be facing down rather than up. And again, you're going to hold this position for 30 seconds, rest for 2 minutes, and repeat for 4 sets. Again, making sure that by the end of the 30 seconds, you notice that it's relatively challenging to hold the position. This is simply another way that you can perform the same exercise in regards to the stimulation your tendon will get. I'm going to be using the handle of a door here. It's very simple to do this at home by using a table or countertop, or you may even be able to use your other hand for the resistance. So very simply, you're going to get your golf club and you're going to place it underneath an immovable object. You're going to set up in the exact same way, and then from here, again, this is for golfer's elbow, you're going to try and imagine rotating so that the golf club goes up this way. Obviously, it's not going to move because of the object in the way, and that's what makes it an isometric contraction. So you're going to hold that tension, trying to get the golf club to move up towards the ceiling for 30 seconds, and you want to use about 50% of your maximum effort, approximately. Again, not going anywhere above, about a 3 out of 10 on a pain scale. After 30 seconds, you're going to take a 2-minute break, and you're going to repeat for 4 sets. Okay? I'm going to show you the tennis elbow variation on my other arm, just so that I don't need to turn around and face away from the camera. So for the tennis elbow version, we're going to have our palm down. We're going to put the golf club under the immovable object again. And then very simply, I'm going to try and rotate it towards the ceiling again. So here, and then 30 seconds, trying to make that golf club rotate up towards the ceiling. About 50% effort, roughly, not going above 3 out of 10 on a pain scale. After you've 30 seconds done, you're taking a 2-minute break and repeating for 4 sets. This can be done every day. You don't need to do a warm-up before it. You can do it in conjunction with your regular exercise program. Try this out daily in the space of a couple of weeks. You should see a difference, and it's something that you will probably need to doing for a number of months. As things start to feel better, don't stop doing it. You want to make sure that you stay on top of it. And even when symptoms go away, it may be a good idea to keep doing maybe 1 or 2 sets a day as a precautionary measure. Very simple. You're going to get your forearm supported on something. I'm using a bench. You can do it at home on a countertop or chair or something. Very simple. We are going to allow the club lower towards the ground under control as far as we can comfortably, and then we're going to rotate back up to the top position. As I do so, I'm getting nice loading through the involved tendon and muscles, which will help strengthen them and stimulate repair. Go nice and slow and controlled. I want you to use a resistance that makes somewhere between 5 and 10 reps challenging. Most people never go heavy enough on these exercises because they're worried about causing further damage, which is extremely unlikely to happen with exercises that are so slow in nature. If you don't have an Indian club or won't buy one, you can use a golf club, but it's not as good because they are very light. And to get enough weight from a golf club, you would need to hold 2 or 3 of them, or add something like a wet towel onto the head to make them heavier. But if you want to, you can definitely make some progress doing that. I recommend doing 2 to 3 sets with a resistance that makes 5 to 10 reps challenging. Do that on one day. Very simple. You're going to get your forearm supported again. You're going to use a dumbbell. You can use quite a heavy dumbbell for this. Try something like 30 or 40 pounds to start with. You're going to get your forearm supported. Very simple. You're going to stretch your wrist down under control and then up to the top. Again, that is lowering the involved tendon and muscle, and it's going to help make them stronger. Nice and slow and controlled, using a resistance that makes 5 to 10 reps challenging. You're going to do that on the days in between you do your resisted supinations. So really simple. One day you're doing the supinations, the second day you're doing the curls. 2 to 3 sets of each and alternating on days. Gradually over time, build up the resistance if you can, and you should notice progress. The second one is tennis elbow, which is going to be tendinopathy on the outside of the elbow. The protocols are going to be the exact same, it's just the opposite movements. So the first one is going to be pronations. So you're going to start with your palm down, and then you're going to come up to the top. So down under control, and then come up to the top. Again, you're going to try and use a resistance that makes 5 to 10 reps very challenging. If you don't have or won't buy an Indian club, you can again do the same thing with the golf club or multiple golf clubs at the same time, or add something like a wet towel to the end. And then your wrist curl for tennis elbow is going to be the reverse variation. So you're going to go palm down, get a nice stretch, and then come up to the top. Again, it's going to be the exact same thing, 5 to 10 reps. Something to note is that this version of the wrist curls is much more difficult than the palm up one. So you will ideally be able to adjust the weight to adjust to either exercise if you're doing both. And again, if you're doing the tennis elbow, I would just alternate one day doing the wrist curls, the other day doing the pronations. You can do both on the same day. My idea is just a suggestion so that they don't take too long to get through.